Better? Worse? Better? Yeah? No? See? All right. Cool. So who's Arkus? We are a Salesforce partner. We're an implementation partner. We deliver solutions to our clients. We're a silver partner with Salesforce.com, and we're a premium partner with Salesforce.org. We do a lot of work in the United States with companies of a variety of sizes, large and small, all the way up to some of the top 10 companies in America and some of the smallest, like 2-person nonprofits. We work with all sorts of companies. And over the last 8 years, you can see we've accumulated over 100 combined individual certifications through Salesforce University and Trailhead, 300 plus clients that we've enabled on the Salesforce platform and done 800 plus projects successfully. And on the App Exchange, we have 123 reviews. 97% of them are 5 stars. So people like working with Arkus. That's a good thing. And a lot of that, or some of that, has to do with the work that the teams that we work with down in Uruguay help us with. All right, a little history lesson. So our relationship, as I said, with teams down in Uruguay is as old as the iPhone. That's the original iPhone up there. And I remember holding that in my hand and saying, wow, what a cool device. And now there's no buttons on my iPhone. We started with Timba back in 2010. We had 1 developer and 1 QA. We delivered on hundreds of projects together. And the team has been very, very elastic and scalable. We've been able to grow up to 6 or 7 team members at a time, and at times we've kind of scaled down to 2 or 3 people as we need. And as we need more development work, so working on Apex and Visualforce and now Lightning and API integrations, that is the kind of work that we have our team in Montevideo do. Currently, we have a team of 5 at Octana. All right, making it happen. So these are the tips, okay? Now you're all here. Show of hands, who does not live in Uruguay? Great. So these are going to be for you. But yeah, are there developers in the room? Great. So these are also for you on how to work with us, okay? So, tip number 1, he's very quiet. He's not normally this quiet. It's amazing. I wish I could do this all the time. So, tip number 1, have a team lead on each side. It's very important that there is a team lead on the, on our side for Arkus that is kind of running the team, a single point of contact for the team lead who works, in this case, at Octana. So we collaborate back and forth and make sure that on the Arkus side, we keep all of our project managers in line and don't just start throwing things at the developers every day like, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. We make sure that everything is organized and work together. On the development team side, the folks down here in Uruguay, they are responsible for assigning the right person to the right task, right? So if there's a very hardcore back-end process-intensive task, that might go to one person. If it's a very front-end type of development work, that may go to another person on the team. Or we may have to pull in another resource because we maybe don't have that skill set on the team at that moment. So the team leads are constantly communicating and talking about the needs of the team and how to structure and organize the work that we are doing at that moment. We have to build great rapport. We have to make sure that we become best friends, right? The team leads, and by having constant communication, meetings all the time, being friendly with each other, it actually creates an environment of collaboration that allows us to deliver in a much better way. There's no friction, right? There's only a really good level of communication and trust with each other. Speaking of which, structuring a daily communication cadence. So we have a stand-up. This is Suarez, right? I think I'm talking about doing a good daily communication cadence, but I think this is right before they got in a little fight on the on the pitch. So not a great example of great communication. But anyway, we have a daily stand-up that we do in the morning. It's great because we are in New York, and right now it's only 2 hours behind, but I think tomorrow is only 1 hour. So it's really easy to work all day long together, and in the morning have a stand-up where we get on the phone. We used to do this a little differently. We used to just have the team leads get on the phone and talk to one another, and then the team lead on the development team will assign all the tasks and have to understand what everybody's doing. Now we do it a little differently, where all of the team comes onto the call, and I think that that's a little bit better. Everybody gets a chance to tell their own story, ask their own questions, try to remove blockers from the situation, and we also, have kind of created a way where everybody can participate as part of the daily stand-up, as opposed to it just being one person with one other person. I think it makes for a much better communication strategy. One of the things that we use at Arkus, and this is a Google slide here, Google presentation, is we use Google Apps, the Google Apps Suite. Everybody use Google Apps or Microsoft? Everybody? Everybody uses Google. All right, cool. So, yeah, what's that?
It's a great tip.
Yeah, it's a good tip. Use Google. But really the tip here is that we at Arkus create Google accounts for every one of our team members. So everybody is on the same Google domain, and that way we can feel very comfortable sharing information back and forth. It's on the Arkus domain, and also if there are times where our project managers need for one of our team members to get on the phone or get into an email conversation or a thread, and it comes from Arkus, right? So it looks like every team member is an Arkus employee. I know maybe that's not the greatest thing for the folks sitting in the room, but for our clients, it's seamless. They don't have to ask, who is that person? When they see that it comes from an Arkus email, they understand, oh, they work for Arkus. And it makes that kind of friction with clients, it goes away, because they don't have to ask, what is that Octana email address, or what is that? Who are they? They're just part of Arkus. Slack. Who uses Slack? Everybody. Okay. So another way to communicate with one another, and we use it with single sign-on. We make sure that the only people who can log into our Slack team are logging in with their Google account. Another reason why the Google account is very important. So we have a dedicated channel for the development team inside of our Slack, where the development team can collaborate inside there with myself, who I run the team. And Jason, I think, is also in the team. He just watches and lurks in the background like a snake. He's watching in case we say something silly, which we do all the time with crazy Giphies. But anyway, Slack is very important because now our developers have the ability to communicate with the rest of the organization in a very quick one-on-one or in a group, in a channel for a project. We also have another channel that's called Development Questions, where our project managers who may not be, savvy with Apex or with Visualforce or custom components, is this a trigger, is this a process, help me with a challenging formula even. People can post those questions into the Development Questions channel, and someone from the development team will answer the question. And that's a great way to just, introduce everybody who works at Arkus to the team. This is not some, black box of development that magically all of a sudden beautiful things happen. And there are people that work on this stuff, and we want for the Arkus employees and the project managers to be able to understand who these people are, who's doing the work, be able to communicate with them on a one-on-one basis if they have questions throughout the day. I will tell one of the developers, like, oh, for this project, you're working with Jason. So if you have very specific questions, you can ask Jason on Slack, and he'll go back and forth with you, and I'll catch up tomorrow, right? So we use Assembler. Does everyone use Assembler or some type of tool like Assembler? Just the two of you? They're laughing at us. Well, whatever. Fine. We built a little integration between Salesforce and Assembler. We don't want everybody at Arkus to have access to Assembler, because it can become a mess very quickly, and the card walls become impossible. So we built an integration between our Salesforce and Assembler, so that our project managers and even our sales team can see we call them development tickets. And the development ticket custom object syncs with an Assembler ticket, right? And the collaboration internally can happen in the chatter feed on the development ticket inside of Salesforce. And we can go back and forth and ask some questions, and finally we can push some of that stuff over to Assembler when all the mess is sorted out. So when a project manager wants to create a ticket, they create it in Salesforce. They let me know in chatter, hey, I created this ticket. I take a look, make sure everything is there that the developer will need. The user story, if it's a bug, how to reproduce it, what you were expecting, what actually happened. If it's a feature request, making sure that it's actually legible and makes sense so that when it gets to the team, they know what to do with it. And then I just check a box and it sends it over to Assembler. And that's been a really nice integration for us. We have a kind of a two-way also with the status of the ticket itself. So when things move from backlog to open, that status updates in Salesforce. We have kind of different types of tickets that have different types of statuses, and everybody gets a chatter message at them when the status changes. So they know, even though I did not tell them, somebody just moved a ticket from maybe in development to in QA. So everybody knows who's working on that project or on that ticket that, oh, look, my ticket's in QA now. It's being tested. Collaboration. I feel like I've talked about this a lot already, but it's very, very important to collaborate with the team, like become a part of the team and really understand what the team is doing from a day-to-day basis, at any given moment, just to basically just include as many people as possible when necessary. So again, daily stand-up, very simple, team lead on each side with the rest of the developers, but throughout the day, using all those tools that I've already described, going back to the Google accounts and the Slack and the integration with Assembler, this collaboration is extremely important in order to deliver quality products to our clients. Trust. Salesforce says that this is their #1 value, right? Well, we value this too with our development team. We trust the fact that when we send something to the development team that they're going to be honest about it. They're going to tell us, I cannot do that. Or you are asking for something that is crazy. Why would you ever do that? And try and lead us down a different path. So instead of us coming up with all of the solutions all of the time, we'd try and abstract, to user story. User needs to do this and user needs to do that. When they go over here, this happens. And that way, we trust the development team to architect the appropriate solution for our clients, right? And sometimes we are the client. we use our development team to build out our own Salesforce when there's a backlog of things to do in Arkus's Salesforce, as opposed to just doing work for our clients. So we prefer that the team be very busy working on our clients' work, because that's how we make money. But at the same time, we have our own needs, right? We are moving, we've been using Salesforce since 2010. We were in Classic that whole time, and we know Lightning, right, is here, and we want to move to Lightning by the end of this year. We're almost there. But there are things that we did in Classic that were just, okay to do in Classic. Button hacks, JavaScript buttons, things like that. Things that just don't work in Lightning, and we need them for running our business. So some of the stuff we have our development team work on and also improve upon what we have already built. So something that was a report or 3 reports, maybe we build a Lightning component that can flip back and forth between some data and visualize it a little differently. And we trust in the fact that our team can build up these new skills and understand, someone who is a front-end developer can take, hey, why don't you go learn Lightning, take the Trailhead badge, understand a little bit more about how to build custom Lightning components, and then trust the fact that they're going to deliver to us a really good solution for the problem. And sometimes we test things on ourselves. So sometimes we see how good this Lightning component thing can be on ourselves before we promote things to our clients and say, yeah, we'll build a custom Lightning component for that and a custom Lightning component for that, because we know Lightning is still new and we don't want to push the limits of it and deliver something to our clients that isn't going to work for them. Scoping. Muy importante. So this goes back to the trust. It's, we do not know. I can take ballpark estimates, but we trust in the fact that when I send a user story to our development team, and I need for them to first look at it, read it, understand it, and tell me how much time this is going to take. Is this going to take 8 hours, something simple? Or is this going to take 500 hours, something a little more complicated? Is this going to take 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours? How many resources do we need for this to occur? We ask the team to do this. So we trust in the fact that our team is going to scope the projects correctly. I don't know why I put a picture of La Pulperia on here. I think it was because you can order too much food, right, from a barbecue very easy, and that's the idea of scoping, right? You can always under or over scope depending on who's doing it or what mood they're in or what skill sets they have. So that's why we want to make sure that when we have someone scope a project, we typically have them do that project if they scoped it. That way, they know what they were thinking when they scoped the project. They know the design that they were thinking through, and then they can then deliver on that afterwards. And these numbers that we are given from the team, both from the developer and from our QA, it's very important to include QA in scoping, right? We cannot forget about that. The QA has to understand the user story and has to understand what they're going to have to do to test, whether it be exploratory or writing test suites or even automation. They have to be involved in that scoping process, because you might tell somebody, oh, this is going to take 24 hours to develop, and like, okay, go build it. Oh, whoa, what about QA? And when our QA finds the bugs, it's more than 24 hours. So he has to take time to test as well. What's that? Sorry, you're whispering to me. There's an audience out there.
I'm the puppet master.
Go on. What?
I was going to say, and also think about the... There we go. I get to talk now. Now you're never getting it back. It's over. The other thing about scoping, extremely important, and QA is also the platforms, right? Because testing something on this set of browsers versus on this set of mobile devices versus, what are they on? What version of Internet Explorer is not going to work because your client's they're doing it that way. So we've learned from our own mistakes and falling down and getting back up again that you really have to think through as part of that user story, and handing it down to the team and getting QA is what levels are you going to go and how deep you're going to go. Sometimes it's very simple. We know we're going to test in Chrome and it's going to be a Lightning component. It's great. Sometimes it's like, well, it's got to work on Chrome, but it's also got to work on Salesforce One Mobile on the iPad. That's different, right? That's not the same. And there's a level that you need to think about as well. So back to you.
Short interlude. Thank you. All right. Last tip. Visit each other. Does everyone know who this is? No? Perfect Strangers. Yeah? Balki Bartakamus. Come on. The Dance of Joy. Anyway. So there's no better way to build a really highly functional team than to meet each other face to face. This is why we're here. We visited the team earlier in the week. We come to PuntaDreamin. We combine that into one trip. This is my second time down to Uruguay. I spent the whole time in Montevideo. This is Jason's first time. I think it was eye-opening for him, which is fantastic. And it's really important that you have that time to meet each other and really connect and understand each other's cultures and backgrounds and have a barbecue together or whatever it is, right? You just connect on a different level when you see each other as opposed to just every day being on GoToMeeting. I would say even one of the things now with video support for get on the video, right? See each other's faces and what people are doing and during your calls or your stand-ups. And 8 years of success. We've been very successful. We've delivered a lot of projects, a lot of work, a lot of custom development, things I didn't think was even possible we've done. It's been an incredible time over the last 8 years. And like I said in that first slide, we've had tons and tons of success. All of those 5-star reviews on the App Exchange, very high customer satisfaction scores, and that is really thanks to our team and the team down here in Uruguay working together in tandem. So with that, I thank you, and I open it up for questions. Any questions that I can answer? Nothing too complicated. Yeah. Zero. He asked how many developers we have in New York. Yes. Yes, we were a customer of Timba, and then when Timba was turned into Altimetric, we were a customer of Altimetric, and now we are a customer of Octana, back with Jaime and Marcos. I see some people out in the room that we've worked with. Martin. No. Yes. No. He asked if we have developers anywhere else in the world. No. We only have developers here in Montevideo, in Uruguay. We have some people that are in America that have the ability to do some development work, right? We have a couple of folks who are Platform Developer 1 certified and can write simple triggers or whenever necessary, and can do integration work using ETL solutions. But for the most part, when it comes down to it, a lot of the development work is done. Actually, I'd say 99% of the development work is done by the team here in Uruguay. Phil.
You try to use the tools from Slack.
Sorry, say again.
You try to use the tools as well as Slack when you're using that?
Yeah, we used to use, before Slack, he asked if we tried to use any tools aside from Slack. So, we have the Google Suite. So we had GChat that we used for a while. Obviously email. And we have used many tools like Assembler in the past, and we've sort of just settled on Assembler now. We're actually thinking about just moving everything into Salesforce and getting Assembler out of the picture. And just now that in Lightning you can have the Kanban views and things like that, it just kind of makes sense. And we already have all the tickets in there. But for like instant communication and collaboration, it's been GChat and now Slack, and I think Slack is great. So there's no reason to switch at the moment. Yeah. Sales and for delivery of projects. So we have salespeople who use, traditional Sales Cloud leads, opportunities, accounts, contacts, things like that. And then we run all of our projects out of Salesforce too, a custom project management solution that we built. So we have projects, we have deliverables, we have development tickets. We do all of our status reports out of Salesforce. So it's really our platform for everything that we do operationally. Really, our stack is Salesforce, Google, Slack. That's pretty much all we have and need. What else?
Go ahead, invoicing.
Oh, invoicing. Yeah, I mean that's QuickBooks.
The whole stack is the idea and the concept that we sort of went with was we want, well, there's other systems like Assembler and Slack and email and QuickBooks for other things. All of that has to be in Salesforce. At the end of the day, that data's got to be there. So we might use other systems because they're better at running a P&L, or we might use a system better because it has better ticketing, whatever, or collaboration. But at the end of the day, that data's got to be in Salesforce. It's got to be connected up so we can see everything. So all projects, invoices, tickets, contact people, everything in Salesforce at the end of the day.
How many people is working with you in Uruguay?
5. Right now, 5. It's been up and down. Average is, yeah, 5. 5 is actually a good average, I would say. I mean, it started with 1 or 2, really, a developer and a QA, and then scaled up, down, back, and forth. The 5 is right now, and that's a good number for now. Till we grow, I mean, our company has 20 people in America and 5 down here in Uruguay. We consider that part of our team, so we say 25 people. But as we grow more people in America and on the sales side and the project management side, we will probably have to scale up on the development side as well. I think we're getting cut off. I'm happy to talk to you. All right, one more, go. One more. I'm a rule breaker. Uh-huh. I'm going to take your question offline. It was very specific to QA and how we track that and how we do that and the tools that we use. So I'll chat with you outside, yeah? Okay, cool. Thank you so much.